do, I think I will open this meeting, call this meeting to order. Unless do people want to wait a couple more minutes or should we just get started? Okay, then I'm
Yeah, to
just
get
gonna,
started.
okay,
Yeah,
let's just call the meeting to order and get her done. All right, so we're gonna have a lot of good news tonight. Before we do that though, we've got minutes that we need to approve. And I've got one pair of old minutes that I'd like to, that I think need a little bit of correction. We should have, yeah, so actually, yeah, we're gonna, um, yeah, we'll approve minutes. So I don't want to spend much time on it though because I have a lot of very good news. So, all right. So first set of minutes is the 30th. Minutes from December 30th. Do you folks want to look at those? I'll give you a minute to look at those.
This is 12:30. I'm still not seeing
Yes,
it.
correct. That's correct. Yes.
I can't find the folder for the minutes here.
It's on the G drive, and there's a folder at the top. You'll see it says minutes.
Yeah, I see one from December 4th that was modified on December 30th, but that's all I'm seeing.
Oh, really? Oh, that's bizarre.
Yeah,
I
maybe
can
I'll let
see.
me get out and then get back in. Maybe I need to re-sign in or something.
Yeah, I hang on. Let me. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. Can people? Okay. So keep
Yeah,
trying.
they're in there.
They're in there. They are.
Okay. Yeah, it must be something on my end then.
Linda, this is Steve. How do I access it?
Okay. You can't. Sorry.
Okay, that's all right. Does it eventually get
I am going
posted
to
on
send them
the?
to you.
Does it
Yes.
eventually get posted on the state, this
Correct.
town
They'll
website?
get. They'll get. Yes, they will.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay. So, so
I'll
Mary
make a
Jude,
motion to approve.
motion to approve. Can everyone except James see them? The 12:30 minutes.
I can
I'll,
Yeah.
see them. I'll second that.
Ken?
Yes,
Okay,
I'll
great.
third it.
I abstain, so
Okay, all right. And I'm going to vote to approve as well. All right, great. All righty. So then there are minutes for 12:18. See if you can find those, James and
So
everyone.
I saw the ones from the 18th, and they didn't really uh, look like minutes. They were kind of sketchy.
I found them very, very cursory. Um, so I am actually, as much as I hate to make more work for people, I am actually, I think, going to suggest to Peter that we send them back
Well,
for,
and I believe the meeting minutes for the 11th were
Mhm,
incomplete.
right. Yeah, I am noticing this about some of our minutes that they're incomplete, and that's why I was saying that, I thought we might want to correct them. Um, I am going to suggest to Peter that we send some of these back because, um,
Well,
I
maybe you
think,
have this. I mean, I was trying to, I have trouble finding them sometimes, like James just was.
they are a
Sometimes I
little
can see
tricky,
them and
yes.
sometimes I can't. But it looks like the last that we approved on November 13th, we approved the minutes from November 6th.
Hmm.
And then on 12/11, it says we approved minutes of November blank, which I
Okay.
think would have been the 20th. But
Uh-huh.
the minutes from the 11th are blank and don't indicate whether the minutes from the 20th are the ones that were approved.
Uh,
And then, so that leaves us with December 11th and December 18th
uh-huh.
to approve.
Right.
And we just did the 30th. So I think there are
Right.
four of them that are a little in limbo.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I
I would
think
agree.
so.
It looks like notes, like headings were put in and things are going to be added to substantiate the
Yeah.
headings, but
Yeah. Yep.
not a
it
lot got added.
it also says motion to adjourn the November 13th meeting on December 11th.
Oh dear.
And without putting anything in the margins, I changed the header. I think I got all of them because it kept saying MBTA committee meeting.
Uh-huh. And it's
Instead of
working good.
Communities Act, it said Committees Act.
Oh, Committees Act. Oh dear.
So
Okay.
I think I found that in all of them and fixed it.
Mhm. Okay, great. All right. Well, thank you. Okay. So I think we should just hold the rest of the minutes for tonight, unfortunately. And I will get back to Peter and just suggest that we try to we try to bolster them a little bit. Um, so, all right. Thank you. All right. All right. Well, I have a lot of good news tonight, and the first thing I'm going to start with is good news about the response we got from the state executive office of housing and livable communities. So, as you may recall, we submitted a request for pre-review, and they got back to us today. And I'm going to read you what they said in their email. Hang on a second. Let's see. Where did it go? Okay, here we go. Here's what they said. They said, good afternoon. Attached is EOHLC's feedback for Holden's proposed zoning. Although there are a few items that we recommend addressing, and they were very technical, by the way. They generally relate to drafting issues as opposed to the substance of the proposal. The proposed zoning overall would put the town in a good position if adopted. So they said it puts us in a good position if adopted, which is as much as they ever say about any of the plans. You know, they with the pre-review, they don't say we approve it. You know, we bless it outright, but they say it would put you in a good position. That's what they typically say. So that is very, very encouraging. That
good.
is very encouraging. So that I'm really, really happy to hear that, to be able to tell you that good news. Also, Elizabeth, do you want to talk a little bit? Elizabeth and I, and hopefully soon James, have been working on some outreach. Elizabeth, do you want to talk a little bit about our discussion or our appearance at the Council on Aging?
Oh, the Friends of the
Friends.
Council on
Yes,
Aging.
thank you.
Well, I
Yes.
mean, you were there. We were also together at the Council on Aging, but
Right.
on Monday morning, Linda and I attended the Friends of the Council on Aging meeting at the Senior Center, which was, I think, what do you think, maybe 45 or more people, Linda, I think, were there.
Uh-huh.
So it was a good number of people who belong to the Friends, and they welcomed us to provide a presentation. They didn't have a setup for the PowerPoint, unfortunately, but it seemed to go really well. Linda was able to relate to the slides and address the information without presenting it in front of everybody, but it went smoothly, and there was a lot of good, really excellent questions. A lot of people reporting out that they were quite surprised to hear this level of detail and to understand better what's going to happen at town meeting because of the level of misinformation and rumors around town. So there was a lot of specific information and also questions about what the rumors, you know, how truthful they were and how we were addressing them. But Linda built a lot of good information right out of the get-go into the presentation to dispel how we were formed and what the goal was and the importance of the town meeting. And it really was a great discussion. And we got positive feedback after the meeting as well. I talked to the senior center director who had been in contact with a few of the members of the group who came to her and said, gee, that presentation was really awesome. We learned a lot. It was so interesting to learn the stuff that we didn't know about before. And so we've been on the receiving end of some good feedback, and it seemed like time well spent.
Yes, it really did. Yes, Carol, who is the president of the Council on Aging, or the Friends of the Council on Aging, told me that she'd heard from a lot of people who felt it was very informative, that it cleared up a lot of misconceptions about the MBTA Communities Act. And also Karen Winters Farhat, I think is her name, or something along those lines. She has one of these complicated hyphenated names like I do. And um, she was very positive as well, and she's sending out the presentation along with sending out the presentation along with the minutes to, a very broad group of people. So that's very encouraging. That's very encouraging.
Was there like an overarching theme of the questions? Could you?
Well, there were a lot of questions. People had this belief that this is going to bring more affordable housing to Holden. And we made it clear that we are focused on market rate housing in this particular proposal. And so that was a major theme. Trying to think, what else, Elizabeth, would you say?
That you had brought up the kind of the definition of an overlay district at the beginning, and there were people who asked for a little clarification on that, like specifically the Trap Rock. Could they continue to operate the way they are
Right.
without being forced to put land up for sale or change over to some other kind of
Right.
operational mode? I don't remember if they brought up the tax issue, or that was something that got brought up in the presentation. I guess the part of the thing also was that the pressure that this is just a zoning change. They wanted clarification on that. It doesn't necessarily mean that there'll be those units built out. They
Right.
also wanted to understand a little bit more about the importance of voting for the warrant article at the town meeting, that it's kind of a make or break moment. So it was brought up and emphasized again after they raised a couple questions about that.
Right. Yes. Yeah. I think people did have the misimpression that this means that all these apartments or condos units have to be built, and we disabused them of that notion. They had that. They had misunderstood. That. And they, as you said, Elizabeth, they were concerned that people wouldn't be able to use their land in the way they always have, and we explained that no, they will still be able to do exactly what they're doing as long as they want to do it. So just a lot of we just cleared up a lot of questions that people had, and so that was great. That was very exciting. It was very exciting.
Good.
So
Go ahead, Ken.
No, I just said good. Thumbs up.
yes.
There was one point of discussion that I thought was kind of interesting that we might want to be prepared for, and that one of the attendees was asking about this in comparison to all the other building that's going on in Holden, as we know, with all the subdivisions and many, many units of single family homes.
Right.
Taking over land that was maybe previously thought to be preserved under conservation restrictions and other kinds of things like that. Paul Challenger from the Finance Committee is also the treasurer for the Friends, and he was really helpful in explaining that the issues are unrelated, that Holden's planning for development in town of single family homes is what it is, and this is not really encroaching on that.
Right.
And it made me think that might be something that comes up at town meeting that we might want to be, or somebody might want to be prepared to address, because there is a lot of concern out there about the amount of development of single family homes going in.
Right.
So it did get cleared up at that meeting, but I do wonder if it's something that people are worried about, kind of overlapping these two issues.
Right. Yes. Yes. So yes, I mean, people have some general unhappiness with the development in Holden in general. And this is in addition to that, and it really is separate from that. And we will have to, you're right, you're right, that we're going to have to clarify that for people. Try to keep those things separate in people's minds. Does that sound right?
Well, at a more basic level, it doesn't really matter, because if we don't choose, the state will choose, and you're going to have the same exact issues.
Well, exactly.
A no vote means it's going to happen, but we're not going to have the choice about where.
Right. Exactly. Well put. So, so it was a very positive conversation, and I feel like we're getting the right information out there. We're getting the correct information out there to people, which is really important, of course. So, let's see. the other good news, Riley Frankian, the young reporter who has attended a couple of our meetings, um, published a really great article in the Wachusett Free Press. Have people seen that?
I saw it today. It was amazingly helpful
Wasn't
to
it
our
though?
cause. Yeah.
It wasn't great. It was terrific. It was terrific. And I believe that publication goes to all houses in Holden, if I'm not mistaken. So it's very exciting. It has much broader reach than the landmark. Um, so that was very exciting. I guess like, there's a website which some of you may have been aware of that I was not aware of. Um, what was it? It was an anti-MBTA website, basically. And he basically reported on that website and, frankly, all the misinformation on that website and really kind of set the record straight. He really set the record straight, which was fabulous. It was really fabulous. So, very exciting. So I'm going to email him and say thank you and say, good job. So I'm surprised he's not here tonight because he's come to at least a couple of our meetings. Anyway, so that's very positive too. Also, I spoke with the Conservation Commission at last night's meeting. Ken was there, and together we were successful in getting them in explaining the sites to them and in getting them to say that these were quote unquote acceptable sites, getting a vote to say that they were acceptable sites. So we were very happy about that. And Ken, thank you for your help with that.
Acceptable sites, maybe not buildable completely, but
Well,
acceptable is what we need.
but there's some attract, yeah, acceptable is all we need. Um, so that was exciting. And so also I've been reaching out to the PTAs. I have been reaching out to the Dawson PTA and gotten no response so far. I reached out to the Mayo PTA today, and the person got right back to me, but she wasn't sure that, let's see, she said she wasn't sure if it made sense for us to come to their next meeting or if it just made sense to give her information, which was a little disappointing to me. But I, she said, where can I? Well, that was the gist of it. That was the gist of it. I wrote back and said, well, we find it really helpful to talk to people in person, if possible. So we'll see what happens. And Davis Hill. So James and I were planning to go together to that one, just the same way that Elizabeth and I went to the Friends of the Council on Aging. And so stay tuned, James. We'll see.
Mayo, not Davis Hill.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Mayo.
Okay.
Yes, yes, thank you. Davis Hill has a meeting next Thursday at 6:30, and which would conflict with a meeting that we might have here. So one thing I wanted to raise with people was if Davis Hill says that we can come to their meeting, would it be possible for us to skip a week, and perhaps if we need to meet the following week? I mean, we're kind of in the home stretch here, I feel. Do other people feel that way?
Yes.
Ken feels that way. Anyone else? Yes, no, maybe. Wait and see.
I hope so.
Yes, let's hope. So if we can meet with Davis Hill next week, would people still want to meet? Would people want to skip a week and meet the week after that?
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Sure.
Okay, Mary Jude, thoughts?
I was just trying to open my calendar and see how that relates to the big public meeting on the 27th.
23rd. Oh, the 20, right, that's that July 27th. January 27th is our big public meeting, yes.
So that still gives us time ahead of that, sure.
Okay, all right. So let's see, next Thursday would be the 15th. And then the Thursday after that is the 22nd. So we would have 5 days then to plan for that meeting. So I think we could make that work. We could always, if we had to, schedule a special meeting somehow, as needed. So let's see if Davis Hill has time for us. And then, and if so, then we can postpone next week's meeting or not hold next week's meeting. So, okay.
Linda, last night we were talking about the fact that apparently the Halsted apartments do not have many children or school children age.
Yeah, they don't have many children, and I have a request out
Do
to
we
the
have that statistic handy?
We do not have that statistic handy. I reached out to the school district and asked them if they can give us a number for the number of, if they can give us the number of kids at Halsted. I have not heard back from them.
Okay.
I'm planning to reach out to the superintendent to see what I can get from them.
Where did the town manager get the number that he gave us, which was between 5 and 8?
Peter?
Yeah. It was very specific number range that he gave us.
Peter? Can you
Peter
hear
on?
us? I see his.
Yeah, I got that from the former superintendent, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, just in an informal conversation when I was curious. It didn't really have anything to do with MBTA communities at the time. We were just chatting, and I think we were chatting about the Pine Tree Estates when that was just getting when those plans were just coming on board, because he started freaking out that Dawson was going to explode.
Yeah.
And so we went from there, and I asked how many, because I think everyone had the same impression when they were building the Halsted, formerly the Reserve, that it was going to blow up Dawson, and it ended up not doing so simply because it has it's more smaller units and folks without kids, basically.
Right.
It was a nice
remember
number where you could say fewer than 10.
Yeah, fewer than 10 altogether, or fewer than, yeah, I think we need to come up with something. I'm going to try to see if I can get the superintendent to come up with something. I mean, even if it's just fewer than, as you just said, Mary Jude, fewer than 10, fewer than 15, whatever, right?
Yeah.
We actually had some anecdotal report at the Friends of the Council on Aging. There was a gentleman in attendance who lives at the Halsted, who gave us a number of, elementary school kids he sees getting on the buses and high school kids. It was, I think in total, it was fewer than 20 between the two age groups.
Right.
It's anecdotal, but it is somebody who lives right there. But it would be great if we could get it from the school district.
Right. So that's on my agenda for tomorrow, if at all possible. So, so there you have that. All right, so just another quick thing. I wanted to talk briefly about the structure of our meetings. Mr. D'Agostino, who's attending tonight, asked had wanted to know how the public could participate in our meetings, and we've been focused on just our group and getting work done. But I wanted to open that up to folks. Typically, in some meetings, in select board meetings, we have, let's see, citizens address. We have citizens address. And, one thing we could do is we could have a citizens address portion of this meeting. What do people think about that idea?
Citizens address at the select board is limited to 2 minutes?
No,
Three?
it was limited to 5 minutes, and then when I became a select board member, I spoke up, and it's now 10 minutes.
10, okay.
Yeah. So, what would people think about that?
I think if we keep it brief, I just don't want to get barraged with public comment.
Right, because we do.
10's a lot.
Yeah.
You
think 10's a lot,
I was
James?
thinking 30 seconds.
Oh. You know what? My inkling is to say 10, because, first of all, very few people attend our meetings. And we have been wanting to try to, we had been having 2-hour meetings, and then James spoke up and said, could we keep them to no more than an hour and a half? I would like to do that. We can always extend. And it doesn't take any more time to say, if no one wants to speak up, it doesn't take any more time to say, well, since no one wants to speak up, we can move on for a 10-minute citizens address than it does for a 30-second citizens address. What do people think about that?
So how many minutes are you proposing? If you have three
I'm proposing
people
10
speaking for
10
10 minutes,
total.
that's half our meeting.
No, not 10 minutes.
10 minutes per person?
You're saying 10 minutes,
Oh,
I'm
not per
confused.
person. No. 10 minutes total.
10 minutes total. Oh, sure.
Oh, okay.
Yes, 10
Okay.
minutes total.
Because I thought it was a per person limit.
That's what
Oh,
I
heavens
thought too.
no.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that
Because
makes more sense now, James. Thank you. All right. So, let's see. Do I hear a motion to include a 10-minute citizens address at the beginning of each meeting, shall we say?
Motion to do that.
Okay, thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
can we have just a little bit of discussion?
Of course, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
clarification I need.
Discussion,
Yeah.
yes.
So I think it's I'm sorry, I have a cold. I think 10 minutes is feasible given that we're trying to limit the meetings to an hour, but I think each speaker should have a limit because one person could then monopolize the entire 10 minutes.
Well,
if,
right, yes.
if there are multiple people who choose to attend, which there have not been a lot of people in attendance, but I think the 10 minutes should also have a limit per speaker.
Right,
Just proposing that.
right. We could make it 2 minutes per speaker. Would that work for folks?
That's what I was thinking originally. Yeah.
Because that fits neatly into
I
10
mean, if
minutes.
word gets out that there's going to be public comment, are we going to be barraged? So to keep it to 10 minutes, I think total.
Okay,
If there's only one
we do-
person,
If we have more than 5 people show up in this case, how do we select?
that's a good question. Let's see.
divide 10 by 6.
Divide by 10 by
Give them
6.
less time.
Well,
I
I
think
can always
there's going to
choose.
be a lot of redundancy. I mean, I've heard the same thing, at CONSCOM. The same people want to say the same thing. So, Linda, it would be up to you to just like keep them on track. You don't need to hear a lot of reiteration of the same
Right.
things over and over. So
Well,
just,
I know.
on track.
Right. I mean, we could ask people if they could, if they, have come together and they all want to say the same thing, if they could please kind of consolidate it, into the comments of one person or, a couple of people, something like that. We could ask them that.
I think as the chair, you could reserve the right to limit them to 1 minute if there are a lot of people.
I suppose
No.
I could. I suppose I could
If they
do
want to
that.
be redundant, it shouldn't take too long to keep repeating the same thing.
Right. Yes. Let's see. I mean, well, I guess it depends on what we vote tonight. Do we want to amend the motion to have a 10-minute citizens address to include a 2-minute limit for each person at the discretion of the chair?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you saying but beginning tonight? Are we going to allow that tonight, or does this have to be wait till next time?
I think it needs to wait till next time.
Yeah.
I think so.
Procedurally?
Because it's not in the agenda.
I would
Right.
just say 2 minutes or less.
2
Because
minutes
then
or
you can
less.
always divide it in case there are a lot of people.
Okay, so the motion on the floor then is that we will have a 10-minute citizens address with comments by each individual limited to 2 minutes or less. Do I hear let's see, a motion for that amendment? Let me put that way, because we've already got a 10-minute motion.
Motion to approve that amendment.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. All right. So all in favor of the amendment now? Just we're voting on the amendment right now.
Aye.
Okay? All right. And now a vote for the motion as a whole, including the 10-minute citizens address and 2 minutes or less for each individual.
So moved.
Second, anybody?
Second.
Seconded.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, great. Okay, terrific. So, thank you. All right, so, all right, moving on now. Ron, I'm going to turn the floor over to you because we got to get the website done. That needs to be basically the work of the rest of the evening. Were you here for our good news? I'm not sure if you had signed on. Did you hear?
Yeah, I was here for the whole thing.
Okay, you're here for the state. You heard that the state got back to us with good
Mhm.
news. Great, thank you.
Yep, I did hear. That is very encouraging.
Yes.
So what my recollection of where we left this is that you all were going to look over the website and then provide feedback to me as to how you would like that to be edited. I also, just in case it wasn't brought to your attention, I know it wasn't mentioned at the beginning, but I did send Linda the live link for the survey yesterday, so that's ready to be promulgated. So,
Well, actually,
but
it's not waiting to be promulgated because I put it in my slide deck. At least the link I had, I put in my slide deck, and I know someone's already filled it out because she told me she did.
oh, good. That's good to know.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So let us talk about feedback on the website. Did anyone have any comments? The only change that's been done since the last meeting is there was one photograph in there that was a placeholder photograph. I was waiting to get the photograph that was of a Holden apartment building that was used in the Paxton presentation when they did their MBTA. And I did get that picture and I've added it to the website. But beyond that, I haven't changed anything yet because I'm waiting to hear back from what you all have to say.
I did send you my slide deck. Did you
You
get that?
did.
Okay.
Mhm.
Was that helpful at all?
It is, yes, but I didn't want to make any changes until, since we're going to be talking about it at the meeting, I didn't want to make changes until everyone had a chance to weigh in on it.
Okay. Did anyone else have a chance to weigh in? Okay, I'll take that as a no.
Well,
Yes, go ahead.
I looked at it when we first got it, and honestly, I just can't remember. The only thing I remember thinking was at the end, I think of the survey, not of the presentation materials, was we had a question about demographics. I think it was age. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And I
Well,
don't.
the
I didn't,
age is
sorry.
on the survey.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, that was the survey, not the website.
Okay.
Yes.
That was it.
Okay, so take it, no one's had a chance to really give any feedback on the website.
So I realized that I did right after the meeting, I did actually do some other changes. I did change a couple of the data points in order to I changed some of the graphics to be text as you requested. And I added a table of contents to it. I can actually pull it up if that would be helpful.
Please, yes, that would be really helpful.
That'd be great.
All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to go on mute while I do this because I tend to talk to myself.
I always say that, I'm a great conversationalist. I always have interesting things to say, and I'm always interested in what I have to say. This is what I tell my son when he chides me for talking to myself. So,
Okay. Y'all seeing this?
yes.
Yep.
Okay, so here's what I changed. Per the original request, you all had asked me to add a table of contents to try to help people kind of jump around if they wanted to. These are all the headers that I used in all of the sections. I removed some of the graphics from the for that were originally in the presentation that we had given last year. And instead I copied some of the language from the FAQ that you had put together. so that this language is consistent with stuff you've already reviewed. Talking about what does this law mean for Holden? What are the risks of noncompliance? I condensed some of the information that I had in a couple other points into this slide deck. So talking about like what does a 15 unit per acre parcel look like? What is the missing middle housing? And then I took that slide that was originally in the deck and I added here to like what are the benefits of missing middle housing. So we have a little bit about how it's beneficial to support the law. And then I took out the language on I think I took out the language on the zoning change, but I put the top question. I fronted the question of how does the proposed zoning overlay comply with the MBTA Act, reiterate what it requires, and says this proposal meets the minimum for all of these requirements. And then I didn't change these, but I did remove the units per acre because the committee members felt that was going to be a little misleading. It was a little confusing. And then just go on to the survey. So that was a slight restructuring based on the feedback we got at the last meeting. I know that Linda had sent a slide deck of her presentation where there was some information in there that it may be useful to add to it. I haven't added any of it because I didn't want to make any changes until we've had a chance to discuss it as a committee. So any questions on any of these sections? I know I kind of went jetpack through it, but I'm trying to make sure that we get through this in time.
Can you go back up to the legal, what happens if we don't comply section?
Yes, let's see. This section here?
Yes. Let's see. All right, can force our town to if we lose this lawsuit, can appoint special, right, we will have no control over, right, yes. In addition, okay, it's actually, I realized it's 16 state grant programs, and there's a nice visual in the slide deck that I actually borrowed from Peter, a presentation he did at last year's town meeting, and I do like that. I think it's good for people to see exactly which grants we're talking about, and I'm actually starting to wonder if there are other grants beyond those, because someone at the Conservation Commission meeting last night told everyone that she had submitted a grant, which I think was not on the list, and they had been denied. And one of the reasons given was that we aren't compliant with the MBTA Communities Act. So I'm starting to wonder if it may be more than, it's 16, at least on Peter's slide, but I'm just wondering if it's more than 16 at this point. But I think if we say 16 state grant, at least 16 state grant programs, I think that would be better.
Okay.
Well, he's got nearly 20, which I think is a nice.
And it's accurate.
Accurate.
Okay. All right.
The only thing I can think of, Linda, after seeing the graphic that you're referring to with the boxes of the different types of grants, would it be faster for people to absorb if we just did a summary statement of impacting potential, I don't know, research grants, elder services grants. I'm trying to think of the categories, because honestly, the names in that graphic don't mean a lot to me, like the name of the grant. Some of them do, but a lot of them don't. And I assume I'm as well informed as anybody else perhaps about those kind of things. So maybe just having some statement about the kinds of grants that we usually have access to, that we might be limited.
What do people think?
One other thing we could.
I would say
Sorry.
Sorry, no, Ron, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say that one thing I could also do is I think on the state website there is a list of the programs that are affected by noncompliance. If I can find that, and maybe I could just put a link to that, or I could put a link to the slide so that we're not overburdening people with images. It's just an idea, an alternative proposal.
Well, that is an idea. I mean, you could say, I would still feel better with at least 16 than rather nearly 20, because to me 16 is not that close to 20. But That would be my preference. But I think you could do categories like Elizabeth mentioned, like conservation grants, and brownfields, or uh, let's see, the grants are. Let's see if I can find my slide deck. We could make categories like Elizabeth said, and then if you want more detail, click on this link and take them to the list. Elizabeth, what would you think about that idea?
Yeah, I think that's a nice compromise that people can in fact look up more specifically if they have some
Right,
areas that they're particularly concerned about or that mean a lot to them or their groups
right,
without.
Can we
but-
pick specific grants? Like maybe just pick 3 or 4 of the big ones and then say full list can be found here. And then my one comment is can we put a dollar value on that?
Yeah, it's going to take some time, I think, to track down what the total dollar value would be. Um, I know there's a number floating around that we've only gotten $250,000 from these grants in the last few years. I have no idea if that's true. Peter, do you know if that's true?
Yeah, it's impossible to put a dollar amount on it because, grants are discretionary. So we could apply for a $50,000 grant and only get 20, or we could apply for a, $800,000 grant and get none. So,
Right,
or we might not need to apply for any of them in a given year, so we wouldn't even be applying. So it's
right.
impossible to put a dollar amount. But I think, Linda, what you're talking about that probably went on at the Conservation Commission with the woman who I assume was probably Glenda Williamson, who's our conservation agent. She was talking
Yes.
about a grant for a study for removal of Eagle Lake Dam that fell under a sub-agency that I had never even heard of in my travels. But so what happens is the grants fall under these larger grants, and then they get sort of like partitioned off into smaller sub-agencies and smaller sub-grants.
Uh-huh.
So listing them all also becomes very difficult. That's why they start with the big ones, and
Uh-huh.
the big ones kind of it's like a tree with a root system, and then all goes down into smaller and smaller. So
Uh-huh.
that's why it's also tough to list all of them because you might not even be able to go that far.
Understood. Understood. Um, yes. Okay. So, all right. Well, yeah. So, well, I think giving a link to at least the list on the state website is helpful. And creating categories and then making a link to a list on the state website makes a lot of sense personally. Um,
Yeah, I agree. I think that it would be fairly easy to give some broad categories like conservation or transportation, something like that, and then we can have a link to either something directly at a state website or to one of the slides that kind of lists what all
right.
they are. What
Yeah.
all.
I think that would work. That makes sense to me. Yes. Good. Everyone just disappeared. Why did everyone just turn off their cameras?
Because for me to read the screen, I have to have my nose up against it.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fair. All right. Um, all right. So, all right, moving on then. Thank you for coming back on camera, Elizabeth. Um, all right. I liked this. I think we should also moderate scale can fit in with small town. Oh, this is good. Yep, yep. This is good. Front and side yards create separation from public way. Picture. This is great. 23 parcel acreage, 0.85 parcel density. 27. Oh, this is even more than 15 units per acre then, right?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you want all the detail. I just copied this from the slide in the Paxton presentation, but I felt that it could be useful because you could see something that it's it's not particularly impactful. It doesn't feel very dense, and yet it has a higher units per acre density um,
Uh-huh.
than we actually need here. So it
Yeah.
it's I think it's a good example.
Yes, in fact, you might want to put some explanatory text there. I do like the detail there. Um, and you might want to put some explanatory text there that says this is even denser than 15 units per acre. Um, something like that. Because it's not 15 units per acre, and you just wanted that to be clear. What do people think?
It says 27 units
Yep.
per acre at the bottom.
Yep.
Just highlight that with red in bold or whatever.
In red?
Just that, yeah, that final sentence, density, colon, 27 units per acre, in the parent three parentheses. If you want to make it stand out.
Are we going to get people worried that
Yeah.
we're going to try to zone for 27 units per acre?
Well, no, I think that's like the high end. I think the other exhibits, the ones we saw last night from the town of Leicester, I think, Ron, I saw you, if you skip down to the next exhibit, maybe, can we just jump ahead for a sec?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, is there another one though? Go, next one.
I
The
don't
one that
think he
shows
has-
like three. Nah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's on the
No,
town
no,
of
I
Leicester.
don't.
I know where it. I found it. We found it last night, didn't we?
Right.
And yes, hang on. Town of
It shows
Leicester.
a central 8-unit building on 2 stories, and then it shows, I
Leicester.
think, what was it? Three singles, and then 4 singles, 3 on the above, 4
Yeah.
below. I think that's a better illustration because it shows the parking and
Yep.
driveways and such.
Let's see. Hang on a sec. I can find it. Okay, so
It was on our G drive too in one of those exhibits.
I wanted Sudbury. They also have some. Okay. Let's see. Where is it? We did find it last night. Yeah, like you said, it's showed 3 units and then 3 units on one end of an acre, 4 units on the other end of an acre, and then an 8-unit building in between.
Yes.
With space in between them.
Yep.
So that was very nicely done. Let's see. All right. MBTA communities require.
Does the committee feel that the slides on missing middle and the benefits of missing middle housing, do you feel like that's necessary, or would it be better just to have a couple examples of what 15 units per acre could look like?
What do people think? We haven't been using the term missing middle housing in our discussions. What do other people think?
I think it's good because when you say middle, people assume middle class, and the big topic is how the middle class is deteriorating. The middle class is unable to find housing, so that it goes hand in hand, both in people's heads and in reality.
Anyone have any other thoughts about it?
Yeah, I agree with James.
Yeah, I don't think there's any negative to presenting it, and honestly, it might enlighten people about how limited Holden's housing types are at this moment. This is like we're trying to look to the future and what might meet the needs of the community as well as the people in the state, so they don't leave. And so, even if it's just a quick glance that they decide to take at it, it's still a piece of information that doesn't seem to be loaded. I don't think, and I think James's point is really interesting about the word middle. But I think it would be good to keep it in there.
Okay, good. All right, great. Great.
Okay,
All
well, so
right.
then maybe I can, I do like the idea of having another example of something that, so if you can find that slide, I can just add it after this one, so we can have this, and then we'll leave the other 2 missing middle slides on there as well.
Great. It wasn't a picture of a building. It was
It was a
like
rendering, an oblique aerial rendering, and showed the
Yes.
building.
Yes.
If you Google town of Leicester,
yeah.
you'd see it. It's
Yeah,
right there.
I'm on their website and I'm trying to find it because we did find it last night.
I think we just Googled 15 units per acre Leicester and it popped up.
Oh, yes, let me try that. Let's try that. 15 units.
Yeah, I would do it right now, but I'm sharing the screen with my website,
Yes.
so you'd have to look at me Google, so
Okay. All right.
you don't need to do that.
Let's see. What does 15 Town of Leicester? Ha! Here it is. Yes. Let's see. If you let me share my screen for just a minute, Ron, hopefully it'll cooperate. Then I can show you this here. I do like this. I do agree with Ken that this is good. Here we go. What do people think about this?
Can you zoom in on it, Linda?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Can people see it?
Yep.
I do think that's quite nice.
Yeah, I mean, and that seems like it would be within the zoning that you're proposing.
Hmm.
So the setbacks will go up. That's fine. Yeah, I could definitely add that. Maybe I would have that one first and then have the real world example after it. But
Yeah, that is very nice, I think.
sure,
Hmm.
I can do that.
I wish we could find one that's 15 units per acre, even if it was small, even if it was just like a single building. Um,
There was one in the packs. It wasn't 15, but it was close to 15 that was in the
Uh-huh.
presentation. But I wasn't sure if it was the kind of it was a really good example of it. But if you can send me the link to that, if you can email that to me, Linda, that I can
Yes.
add that to the.
I will do that.
The
Oh,
the thing is though is it's 15 units per acre over both of the parcels together. So you could put something that's 25 acres and it's only taking up 60% of the footprint. So, I mean, it's still valid, even if it's above 15.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You could crowd it into a smaller space in the same parcel. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's not like we're going to completely kind of pigeonhole ourselves into saying only 15 like is acceptable because more unit and like this is going to be leading into another question that I was going to ask later about
Yeah.
the zoning bylaw of restricting it to that number of 15, but we
Right.
can keep going over the website before I get into that.
Okay. Okay. So okay, Ron, I'm just saying Lester in the title or in the subject line, and then I'm just sending you the website. So, all right. All right. So there you go. There. Let's see. Okay, so back to the yeah, back to Ron showing the website. Okay, there we go.
it's yeah, just waiting for you to stop sharing your screen so I
Oh,
can
so sorry.
reshare
Of
mine.
course, duh. Thank you.
Okay. And there we go. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, so I can add that to this, and that's good because I was a little worried that, I say what does 15 units per acre look like, and this is, it says 27 units per acre, so that might be confusing, but it's nice to, if we have that other image from Lester, I think it'll help.
Okay.
Sorry, I think it'll
Yeah.
help explain that.
I kind of wish we could chop a piece off of that building so that it was only 15. So,
But I did like this because this is, these are similar front yard setbacks. I don't know exactly if it's probably a little less than 30 feet, but it's similar to what the bylaw requires. And I think it's the right height. So I definitely think that it's a decent example, and it's something that's in town, so people might recognize it.
Do we know how many bedrooms those units are there in that 1229?
I don't know. No.
Peter, do you happen to know?
I think the assessor's records probably show it. We could find that out.
That's a good point. What did you say the address was again, Ron? Oh, 1229. Okay, 1229 Main Street. Okay.
Also, 1231 is a couple
Mhm.
adjacent.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm not sure off the top of my head.
They're advertising a 2 bedroom when I search the address.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Just a little quirk of the law, which I mentioned last night, is that there's actually no minimum number of bedrooms in the law. And I don't know if that was a compromise or if it was an oversight. Hard to say, but there's no minimum number of bedrooms.
Okay. So was there any other questions on this section, or any other section here?
Nope, not for me.
Nope.
Anybody?
Okay. Now there was the question, Linda, you had sent me, you had sent me some information in a slide deck that you had, wanted me to
Yes.
consider adding.
Yes.
And there was also, there was some discussion about whether or not, we wanted to add the FAQ language directly to this.
Right.
But it wasn't clear from my notes whether or not the committee had decided that you wanted to do that.
Right. Let's see. Let me pull up the FAQ. 1 second. Let me find it. Okay, so sorry, this is taking me a long time, I know. Why don't you go on to something else while I while I try to find this thing? I'm sorry. Where is it? I should have had it before.
Well, I didn't actually have anything else for this.
Oh, okay.
We
All
had
right.
some.
Oh, wait,
I
that's
mean,
not
unless
it.
there's other comments on other parts of the page.
Okay. I know I have this in here somewhere. Somewhere being the operative term. Oh, fact sheets. Here we go. Sorry. Okay, so the question is this the right version? I hope it is. Because we changed it quite a bit. Oh no, this is not the right version. Oh, darn it. Oh dear. Yeah, this is not the right. This is still the myth busting version. This is not my. I did a Q&A version. Did do that. Okay, so let's see. I'm sorry. Well, can we go back to my slide deck for a minute? Why don't I show my slide deck? Because there were some things I think are important to be on here, and I think that they could be more attractively done than they are in my slide deck. But um, um, I do think that the information is important. So let me do that. Hang on a sec. Okay. So for example, we really need to get the message out that this is not affordable housing, right? People are so confused about whether or not this is affordable housing. Most people think it is affordable housing. And we do, for better or for worse, need to emphasize that this is market rate housing. So we have this. Does the law require new units to be affordable? No. The law, law requires the units to be multifamily, not affordable. Does the, you see all these questions here about sewer and water? No. Law does not require the town to invest in any infrastructure. Will the law massively increase Holden traffic? Sites were chosen where there are alternative routes to town and the highway, and multifamily housing generates fewer trips per day than single-family homes, et cetera, et cetera. I think this information is important to put on there. Would people agree?
I think the one thing I would do is change the language and have something other than not affordable.
Oh, okay. I see your point, James. That is a very good point. Because, yes. Well done. All right. So what language you suggest then?
And something more concise, no, I would say no. It has no mention of affordable housing. However, you can put that into less words.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Or you could say in not income restricted housing. I don't know.
People won't know what that means.
Parenthetically, chapter 40B, or
Oh no, 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 no,
no,
don't.
I'm just saying to define that. I mean, it, the quote unquote state affordable housing is chapter 40B, right?
Right, that's correct.
So
yeah.
we want to say it's not chapter 40B affordable housing, right?
Well, it is certainly true
The
that it's
quote
not
unquote chapter. Pardon?
No, it's certainly true that it's not Chapter 40B affordable housing. That is certainly true. But I don't know. I just worry that if the word 40B is on there, that people will latch onto it. I mean,
We're
last
saying not
night's,
though. Capital NOT, not.
Yeah,
yes, okay.
but people have short attention spans.
Well, I can't help that. That's the world we live in, unfortunately.
Sadly, yes. I mean, what do people think? Should we put not 40B on there, or what should we say?
Could you read it again, Linda? It's blurry on my screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, because I'm looking for the fact sheet still. Sorry. Okay, so it says.
There you go. I can see it better now. Thank you.
Okay. All right. That's why, because I was looking for the fact sheet. I really gotta.
Could you just say, no, the law requires only that the units be multifamily?
Right. That's that. Yep. That might work. That makes sense.
Yeah, just that's fine.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's do that.
Or capital IONLEY, only that the units be multifamily.
Only that the units be.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yes.
And then strike the end, like James said.
Right. James has a good point there. Yes. Yes. Okay. What about the question about sewer lines, etc.? Should we have that in there too?
I don't think it hurts.
Okay. And what about the traffic line?
I was wondering if you could, I think that's important to put some reference to it, and I was wondering if we could bolster the last statement about multifamily housing generates fewer trips per day than single-family homes per Mass DOT. I mean, like we have.
Oh, right. That's
Al had
the
given you a stat that was pretty clear cut.
right. It was the Institute of, I think it's Institute of Transportation Engineers, or it might be traffic engineers. I need to double check that. I have it here in my
Oh, right.
references, but it's this group that, which seems to be kind of it's a group of experts on transportation or traffic. ITE. Al Berg gave us this reference. And we could even put the specific numbers on there if people want, because there are specific numbers. But I wasn't sure whether it made sense to put specific numbers or not. I don't know what people think.
It doesn't need to be in writing, but something to have also that can be talked about is we did account for concerns about traffic on the at the Trap Rock site by putting a setback as well. So to ease any potential traffic congestion. So that's also something that could be mentioned. It doesn't need to be in writing.
I thought the purpose of the setback was just so that it's not too visible from the street and there would be trees in between the development and the street. I think that was the purpose of the setback. We have two roads we have one road on each side, I think, to try to create two outlets to Main Street.
Yeah, I thought the setback was also so cars have a place to pull in, so you're not like immediately in the parking lot and like it clogs up and backs up Main Street. Okay. I mean,
Ron, is that you're more of an expert on that than I would be.
That's not setback.
Okay.
That
Okay.
that's just queuing space or
Well,
okay.
so there like in the zone itself, there's two areas that are kind of they're not really easements, but they're part of the zone that connect to the street for roadways. And then you would still have and then that's set back from the main street by I forget how many feet, but there is a buffer there between the road and the zone itself.
and the same at Halsted. There's a long driveway out to Newell and a shorter one to Salisbury.
Right. Right. So we did account for traffic. We do have a slide that says it talks about the things that we took into consideration. Do we want to put that
But
up
this,
there?
Linda, this is trip generation. This is people needlessly going to the store twice a day, basically. People could just consolidate their trips. I know you have to go pick up the kids and whatnot, but believe me, I see it every snowstorm. The same people. It's like, what the hell are you doing going out? You knew the snowstorm was coming.
Right, right.
That's my rant, but whatever.
Okay. Do we want to we have a slide on considerations. Can people see what I have up here on the screen now? Considerations. Minimize overall impact on town and look and feel of neighborhoods. Minimize traffic. Avoid zoning over existing neighborhoods. Avoid protected land. Impact on infrastructure and schools. Should we put that on there? Along with maybe this slide about our working group? Thoughts?
I like it.
You like it? Anyone else?
I guess the question for Ron is how does it fit in with the way you already drafted it? Does it
So
require like another section and another link in your table of contents?
yeah, so that's my big question is that, I could put in I can put in a new section and link to it and have all of the text that's in all of these slides. It's just going to be a lot more content on the site. So it's a question like, do we want this all in the content? Do we want this all directly on the site? Do we want, we could also host the slide deck somewhere with a link to it so that people, if they want to see it, they can go to it. But I'm happy to do whichever one you want. The only consideration is that it's going to definitely, because it's mostly text, it's going to be difficult to do it with the format with the software that I'm using. It'll be difficult to do it as a presentation. I would probably have to do it as text that you have to scroll through to get through the rest of the document.
Okay.
I think if there are multiple places you have the link to the slideshow, even though it's redundant, again, people are going to glom on to one thing and ignore the rest.
Mm-hmm.
A problem with having multiple links to the same thing. If you link to this from a lot of places, at least you get people to look at it.
This is the presentation you would be presenting at the schools and at the PTA meetings, correct?
Correct. Yes. Yep.
Okay. I would put that slide first too, just as an introduction.
Put which slide first? I'm sorry.
Maybe not first. No, disregard what I just said.
Okay. Okay. Sure. And I don't know, do we want to talk about the working group on the slide and in the website or not? What do people want to do?
I think it could be valuable to have that information.
Right, because at least they know that it was,
Oh.
it included town residents. I think that's important. I think that makes sense. I think maybe I would take out the established 9-2-25 and just put 9 members and then put our charge, if that makes sense. And then do we want the considerations? I mean, I'd like to take pieces of this. I don't necessarily feel like we have to have people link to the whole slide deck, although we could. But I think pieces of this could be useful. I mean, I do want to have the fact that it's market rate units, not that it requires the units to be multifamily, only multifamily, as a response to, does the law require the new units to be affordable? And I do think these questions need to be somehow in there, because I think these are really on people's minds. I don't know why that just suddenly got small. Yes,
I
go
guess
ahead.
as long as it's not redundant with regards to the website. I mean, yeah. And even if it is slightly redundant, I think it's fine. Could you go back up to the considerations?
Yeah. Let's see.
Number 9.
Thank you. There we go.
I would say minimize my suggestion, and this can be overruled. Minimize over impact on town and residents.
Okay.
And then avoid protected land. And I know the space for Main Street is forest, but I would say green spaces as well.
Okay. Let's see. Well, I guess we do pretty much avoid green spaces, because we're at Halsted and then Trap Rock, which is
It's it's a green space that's completely surrounded by a quarry. So that's the only reservation I would have about putting that in, because it is trees. But
yeah. I mean, there are some trees that we're going to be that both at Halsted and at Trap Rock that would get knocked down.
right.
But yeah, so maybe I would not put that in there. But I mean,
Okay.
they're not, it's not like knocking down the state forest. Right?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And that was kind of my standpoint. If there's, I didn't know if there's any way we could say something along those lines, but protected land is fine by itself, too.
Okay.
How
All
about,
right.
can we do restricted and protected lands, plural?
Sure.
The word that they used in the regs was sensitive. You could say restricted and environmentally sensitive.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good.
Does that work for people?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mary Jude.
Plural lands.
Lance.
Or, well, that's fine.
Lance is fine. No, I think that's right. Okay. And I put in, I wanted to keep that part about the look and feel of the neighborhoods. Because I think that is something people care about, and we do, I think, achieve that. So I think that's important. Okay, it's 7:45. People wanted to end by 8. So where do we go from here?
Okay, can I just ask
Yes,
really
Ron.
quickly?
Yes.
So from the slide deck, we are looking for me to add the slide about the committee, the considerations slide, the and the slides about with the Q&A
Yes, I
with
would like
references.
Yes. I would like, personally, I would like to have, I would like it to look better than the Q&A to look better than it looks on my slide deck. If you can make it somehow more attractive, that would be really helpful. I don't think it's very attractive, and I mean, I mostly jammed those onto those 3 slides for the sake of brevity. Not wanting to have too many slides in a slide deck because everyone wants us to talk so quickly. What do you think
Yeah,
about that,
that's
Ron?
fine. I can do those. I can see what I can do with it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that to me, I think those things are important.
Yeah. Okay. I can definitely do that. And then what I'll do is I'll add those to it. I will add the additional slide from the image from Leicester to the 15 units per acre piece.
Okay.
And then I will send the link out to you all, and it will be published. So whenever the committee is comfortable with it, you can just start sharing it.
Okay. if we do still have a few more edits, can we send those to you? I
Yeah,
don't know
that's
if we
fine.
could. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's no
okay, great.
problem.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So, okay, so and I'm going to try to track down that FAQ sheet. I don't know what happened to it. I'm frustrated about that. I will put that on the G Drive and let everyone know it's there. The one thing I wanted to add, oh, actually, Ron, one more quick thing. Let me just share this one more quick time. The very last, there's two slides. Let's take a look at these two slides that I'd like to show you toward the very end. And let's hope this shares again. Okay, good. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. So I had this language about taxes. Will the new multifamily housing raise my taxes? No. And I quote the Pioneer Institute, which is a somewhat right-leaning institute, because I quoted them because I think it's people who are tend more toward the right side of the political spectrum that are going to be harder to convince. So should we include this on the website as well? Can everyone see it?
Did you say that we were going, in summary, that we were going to add the three? How many Q&A slides are there in total? Because I've kind of lost track.
There are, well, now with this, well, let's see, there would be, three. Yeah, including this one. Three, including this one. Yes, that's right. This is part
So
of the
could
Q&A.
can Ron just figure out a way to put it all?
Yeah. Yes, and then do we need this? Although after Tuesday, there'll only be 2 steps left, so maybe we don't need it.
My opinion is that we don't need that, but
Okay.
I agree.
I would think that probably the best thing to do would be to put something on it about the upcoming workshop and any kind of meeting dates that you
Yes.
have.
Yeah, July 27th. Yes, you're right. Yes.
January.
No, January. What am I? July. In my dreams. January 27th. Yes. Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good. All righty. So we won't do this slide. Although we should have something about, well, about visiting Holden, well, holdenmass.gov, or calling the town hall, or, letting people know there are recorded meetings. I mean, I don't know. Do we need that or not at this point?
you had something at the end of the webpage, Ron, didn't you, that mentioned the meeting? It didn't at the end of the webpage, and not this slide deck.
No, there's a link to this. I embedded the survey at the end, but I don't have information about how to contact the town or the committee. So I can definitely add that to it.
Okay. Great. All right, great.
What would that say? Who gets the phone calls?
Good question. I mean, Peter, do you want phone calls? Why
Well,
can I
this is
guess?
going to be linked to on the town's website, correct?
Yes.
So people will be going to the town website already to find this webpage, or some people will, anyways. So they will already have access to the town hall phone number.
Right. Right. Peter, do you object to us putting that on there? Let me put it that way.
I mean, is it really necessary? I guess is my only.
Right.
I mean, I'm probably the only one that would be able to answer calls in our office of that
Uh-huh.
sort. And if I'm not there or if I'm in meetings, I mean, I can't be working the phone lines. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Hmm. I think, I mean,
Maybe
do you, go
just for
ahead.
more information to attend the public information session on January 27th.
There you go. That would
I mean,
work.
I'm not sure you can tag any one office. I mean,
Yeah,
there is no office. There is no MBTA Communities Act office.
right. That's true. That's true. Yeah, let's just say let's attend the January 27th meeting. I think that makes sense. That sounds
That's
good.
fine.
All right. I guess that'll be good enough. We don't have a MBTA Q&A line. So, all righty, great. Okay, well, it's 7:53 now. Ron, do you feel like you have enough information for now?
I do have one quick question from you for you. The meeting on the 27th, we never really nailed down what you need from me in term like to prep for that meeting. Did we want to have posters that people can interact with? Has the committee considered how the open house that meeting is going to be formatted?
We have not. And that makes me wonder if canceling next week's meeting is a good idea. This all makes me wonder actually if canceling next week's meeting is a good idea. And maybe we could put off going to visit Davis Hill until their next meeting in February. Maybe that would be a better idea. I know people are tired of meeting. I really do. Um, I- but I am thinking now that we really do need a meeting next week to really nail this down and plan that event. Because I actually think leaving it to 5 days before is a little tight, especially since, yeah. Can we agree to meet next week as usual?
Linda, could you find out if they plan to meet in February? Only
Yes.
because that would probably fall around school vacation week, and it's been a long time since I was involved in the PTA, but I just wonder if they tend to have meetings in that
I know,
month because it's that week.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
it,
I know,
and
I
not
know
that I
that.
don't think it's important that we get this thing, get the presentation part tightened up as
Right.
quickly as possible, but I'd also hate to miss that window if they're willing to let us come.
True.
And then
True.
they're not going to meet in February or whatever. It may be fine to ask if we can come in February, but
Yeah,
just a thought.
I'll look into that. I will look into that. Yes.
Linda, the other consideration, if it affects anything, I'm not actually available next Thursday.
Oh, that is an important consideration. Yes.
So
Okay. So, that makes, what do people think?
Well, in the 5 minutes that we have left,
Yes.
Ron, did you have a vision for what this meeting would look like? I don't think it's the kind of thing where you're presenting something that's complicated and you have stations that people go to. I think it's really just sort of Linda's slideshow. When you talk about posters, like what were you envisioning?
Well, so there's a couple different ways we can do it. You could do a presentation and just have an informal Q&A. Basically, the committee members, whoever volunteers, sits in front of the room. You do a presentation, and then you have a conversation with whoever shows up. You could also do it as sort of an open house where you have poster boards stationed around the room, and then people can move through at their own leisure and go to see each individual. Instead of doing a big presentation, you basically have a few large boards that have the presentation information on it, and then people can kind of move through it at their leisure. That those are really, I think, given the time frame, those are either one of those would be the one I would probably recommend.
Thoughts?
Before people debate, the other question is the senior center. I don't know what the technology is there. I don't know. We don't have CMRPC. I don't think we have a projector and a screen. If you wanted to set something up, so I don't know if the town has that ability in the senior center to be able to do a presentation. So Just throwing that out there in case it's not. That may narrow down your choices.
We do, don't we, Peter?
Yeah, we've got like a regular projector that we could use, or we can use the big screen TVs too, and just plug right into USB with that if
Right.
we prefer that.
Right. I mean, I think we need to do a presentation, and I actually think it might be good to have it be not just me talking. I think it would be good if people consider whether they want to do a part of the presentation. Any thoughts about that?
I agree that we need a presentation. I think the information is too complex and kind of emotionally loaded to have people read posters. And even if we did leave time after a poster session to answer questions, I think it might cut to the chase a little bit faster if we had the opportunity to present the
Yes.
details and